We want to welcome you to our 2021 Annual Awards Banquet. We're going to start this evening, as we always do, with the pledge, so please join me in standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and please remain standing as we invite Reverend Meighen to provide tonight's invocation.
You can sit down. Because if you stood up, I'd have to make my prayer shorter. This is deja vu. 10 years ago, Jonathan Board received an award. And tonight, he's standing in front of you as the MC. Court jester. And 10 years ago, Senator Joe Manchin spoke. And guess who's speaking tonight? Before I have the prayer, I want to mention that one thing we started 2 years ago that I thought was quite appropriate was that we took a moment to honor those members and friends of the Chamber of Commerce who have passed during this previous year. It's always a meaningful time to remember those people who are not with us this year. And I would invite you, because as I talked to Tina, we weren't sure who we might miss. But I know my friend and your friend, many of you who knew Don Hoylman, will certainly be missed. He was a recipient of an award a few years ago. And so I would invite you to just stand up and share a name of a chamber member or friend who has passed during this year that we need to remember and would like for the rest of the community to recall. Any names? Well, that means all of you are living well and healthy. Okay. Rebecca? I didn't hear that. Twyla Burton. Thank you very much. Okay. Yes, over here. Frank Police, absolutely. Thank you. Oh yeah, Phil Mason. Any others? Okay. All right, let's take a moment of silence in remembrance of these four, and then I will have a prayer. Gracious Lord, we come together tonight as we cautiously remove our masks and give thanks for those who choose to vaccinate. After 2 years, to come finally face to face and rejoice together here in this place. Oh Lord, we dance with joy for the awards that will be shared to deserving groups and people and others who have cared, of those who have heard and responded to your divine word of grace and have made our community holy, regardless of lifestyle, religion, or race. We dance with joy to hear our senator's words and thoughts, and for his successful efforts for the American Rescue Plan he fought. His faith in politics has beckoned tonight. It's Fairmont's gain and Washington, D.C.'s loss. And I think Gail is here, but we all do know that in the Manchin household, who is the boss? We dance with joy for the Chamber's work and for Tina Shaw's worth, for the hospital saving and the Disability Action Center changing, for hope restored and jobs employed. We dance with joy for the restart of Dancing with the Stars, for Main Street, Fairmont, and fairs and openings of restaurants and bars. Oh God, your truth is often seen in reverse, that those who serve the community serve you first. By giving of themselves through agencies and boards, we come to know your claim as our Savior and Lord. So we serve on streets and in slums, on the internet and legislative interims, in collaboration with friends and foes to help solve some of life's woes. And finally, Lord, our humble plea, let it be, as we go through the food line and see what there is to eat, let us be prayerful as we fill our plates with items of delicious taste, that we will enjoy all there is, but please, Lord, let it not expand our waste. Amen.
Thank you very much, Reverend Meighen. I now put you in the very capable hands of Aladdin, our food host today, and they will release tables in their order. Thank you very much. Enjoy. This year has been full of challenge, and I think talk is a little cheap. So tonight we are not here to celebrate those who talk about doing, but rather those who do. I think we're all a little tired of these notions of personal branding. I think this giving away of ourselves to influence others. I think we need to stop talking about our brand and let the quality of our character speak for itself. Because at the end of the day, character is all that matters. And I was inspired by the incredible young woman, a true doer, who when she faced something she could not endure, something that she feared, her dear uncle gave her the most valuable tool. It wasn't money, fame, or weapons. It was hope. And he told her that she was born for this very moment, that she was placed here for such a time as this. My friends, sometimes I think we wait for that moment. We search for that moment, that time that satisfies our craving for that pivotal moment. But I've come to the conclusion that this cherished moment exists all around us at all times. From the second we wake to the moment that we sleep. It's when we check on a widowed neighbor. It's when we call our parents and tell them that we love them. It's when we hug our children and tell them that everything is going to be all right. Our moments are all around us, and we exist. Indeed, we were placed on this earth for such a time as all of these. This has been such a hard year, and in difficult times, I like to think back to those writings and stories that gave me comfort as a child. Those of you that know me well know that I am every bit a nerd, and I wear that badge with pride. And so if you'll indulge me a moment, I'd like to quote another nerdy person who happened to be my favorite author. When one of his characters couldn't find the strength to carry on, he said, "By all rights, we shouldn't even be here, but we are. It's like in the great stories, the ones that really mattered, full of darkness and danger they were. And sometimes you didn't want to know the end, because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened? But in the end, it's only a passing thing, this shadow. Even darkness must pass, and a new day will come. And when the sun shines, it will shine out the clearer. And I know now, people in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't, because they were holding on to something, that there's some good in this world, and it's worth fighting for." My friends, co-laborers, it is with greatest joy that we celebrate those among us who fight for the good of Marion County. Tonight, we celebrate the actions of those folks who understand that they are here for such times as these. I'd like to take a moment first to celebrate one of those individuals, a fearless leader, someone who sets the bar so high for all of us that we can barely see it. She beats feet harder than anyone in all of Appalachia. She's a friend, a mentor. Please join me in thanking Miss Tina Shaw, our president. Before moving forward, we would be remiss if we did not thank our sponsors and specifically our diamond sponsors, who will be mentioned in the order of their response. Please hold your applause until all are recognized. And that would be Rogers Electric, TMC2 Technologies, Civil and Environmental Consultants, Mon Health Marion Neighborhood Hospital, Veritas Contracting, Fairmont State University, W.Va Medicine Fairmont Medical Center. Please join me in thanking these organizations. Additionally, we have several elected friends who are with us this evening, and again, we'll hold all applause until all are recognized. We, of course, have the federal co-chair of the Appalachian Regional Council, the Honorable Gail C. Manchin. Sure, come on. We have West Virginia Senator Bob Beach, West Virginia Delegates Joey Garcia, Guy Ward, Erikka Storch. We have Marion County Circuit Clerk Rhonda Starn, Harrison County Commissioner Patsy Treecost, Board of Education President Mary Jo Thomas, Board members Tom Dragich, Donna Castello, the Marion County Superintendent Donna Hay. From the City of Fairmont, we have Mayor Tom Manila, Donna Blood, Rick Garcia, Ann Balliard, and Giudice. From the town of Whitehall, we have Mayor John Michael, Deputy Mayor Tim Ridenauer, and Council Member Jason DeFrance. And we have the West Virginia Democratic Chair, Belinda Biafor. Please thank all of these people for being here. I would now ask that all chamber member board members please stand. Please join me in thanking our chamber board. And I now turn this show over to the reason you all are here, our President, Tina Shaw.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for attending tonight. This has been quite the year, and it just makes me happy to see everyone here tonight and that we're able to have this fabulous event. I see new members, I see longtime members, community leaders who are all making a difference in Marion County, and I want to thank you all for that. I also see some new faces tonight, and I'm grateful for the number of new members we have been able to secure over the past 2 years, especially during COVID. The pandemic taught us a lot, but it proved to me that Marion County is resilient, and we were able to find very unique ways to keep the ball rolling all through it. So without further ado, it is always my pleasure to present a young leader who will be receiving a very special college scholarship on behalf of the Seth Burton Memorial Foundation. Would Phil and Rebecca Burton please come to the front of the stage? The Burtons, as many of you know, honor their son's memory by funding this scholarship through your community foundation. And we as a chamber are the caretaker of it, and it's truly an honor to be part of this special scholarship. This year, there were 26 applicants, so the bar was very high. And tonight's recipient is Ms. Sophia Tomana, a graduate of Fairmont Senior High School. Sophia, would you please come forward? Oh, she's with you. Sophia is a graduate of Fairmont Senior High School, and she feels honored and humbled to be receiving this scholarship. And for the Burtons, I think it's extra special because Sophia spent her middle and high school years training for cross country, running along the Seth Burton disc golf course at Morris Park. and that's not easy to do if you've ever ran those hills. Recently, she had the honor of painting his image on the new Polar Bear Memorial mural. She will be attending Wheeling College this month and will pursue a degree in nursing. So congratulations, Sophia. Maybe we can get a picture of her holding that. Thank you. Once again, congratulations, Sophia. Before we move into the awards presentations, I'd like to especially thank the Chamber Board of Directors. I have some pretty awesome bosses, all 26 of them. They see my vision and they want the best for our county, especially our chairman, Jonathan Board. I know there are times I frustrate him. I just know it. I can see it in his eyes. But he always smiles and he makes me see things in a different light. He's a great mentor, and we are all very lucky to have him as our leader of the chamber. I'd like to give him a round of applause. I also want to thank Dr. Martin for the use of this fabulous facility. As a proud graduate of Fairmont State, it makes me proud to see how far they've come and the wonderful things they are doing. Chad Newsom and Company. Where are you, Chad? You can thank him for the alcohol tonight. Thank you. From start to finish, he handles everything, and I couldn't be more appreciative. Jeff Miller, over here, our IT guy with Fairmont State, he calms me down. He comes in, he does everything and anything we need him to do, and he's a dear friend. Thank you, Jeff. Reverend Meighen and Chuck Warner for all the photos. And finally, my little small staff of Christy with the help of Laura. You both make it easy for me, and I'm grateful for not only your dedication to the chamber, but also our friendship. So thank you all very much. Now, before I start with the awards presentation, a very exciting time of the night, Bill Gettle, I think first exchange is somewhere. Where? Okay, over here. Just want to thank you, Bill, for my little special surprise tonight. If any of you were here a couple years ago, Reverend Dee presented me with a gift certificate from McDonald's. Because, you know, it's just a sort of a tradition that my husband and I, after this dinner, we go have our real meal after this dinner. And so Bill showed up with a gift certificate tonight, and I want to thank you so much for it. Trust me, we're going to use it tonight. So we're doing things a little bit different this year. So I would like to ask Julie Soul, Jay Rogers, Mary Jo Thomas, Nick Fantasia, and Lila Grandstaff to please come up to the stage to help present awards. I would also like to ask Senator Manchin and Jonathan to go to the front of the stage for the photos with award winners. While they're all coming up, I want to start with a special presentation and would like to ask Randy Farley to come to the front of the stage, please. As many of you know, Randy just retired from Marion County Board of Education after 46 years of service, and Senator Manchin has a very special proclamation he wants to give him, while the chamber has a resolution. So Randy, we want to say congratulations for a job well done. You've been absolutely fabulous these past years. So our first award presenter is Jay Rogers.
Thank you. It's my privilege tonight to introduce the Developer of the Year. In the chamber world, development and business development, it means business development for our community. Seldom does one connect quality of life with this type of development, but they truly do go hand in hand. If you cannot provide a standard of quality of life for your residents, then business development suffers. Tonight we honor a company and its owners for taking quality of life to a new standard. You can bring the largest company in the world to your community, but if you do not have quality housing, then it is not a win. Marion County has seen the best of times and the worst of times when it comes to our housing market. However, all it takes is one company with a vision and a commitment to the landscape for it to change. This company is doing amazing things, not only in Marion County, but leaving their mark in Harrison and Preston counties as well. Built on their Christian values that were passed down from their grandparents, their mission is excellence in the work and to make a difference in doing what they say. Patio homes, townhomes, single-family homes, and planned developments are all part of what they do. With 4 boys, all under the age of 5, I don't know how the owner and his wife find any time for anything. However, they always seem to be taking on new projects. Please join me tonight in congratulating Dave Reeds of Stella Construction as Developer of the Year in Marion County. I'm going to go with Mary Jo. You know what? I'm going to go with Mary Jo. Our next presenter is Miss Lila Grandstaff with the Women's Achievement Award.
As many of you know, the Chamber has a very strong and growing women's network. The goals of the network are to engage, empower, and educate our members on the opportunities that exist for women. We have numerous women in this room tonight who truly live their lives for those goals in mind. Tonight, we honor one woman who changed the course of her life, took a leap of faith, bought a business, and is now one of Marion County's retail success stories. You can say what you want to say about Marion County has or does not have, but we certainly have dedicated entrepreneurs. Taking a risk is an understatement for this lady, and it sure has paid off. She recently moved her business to a new shiny location in the Middletown Commons, and along with her employees, who she credits her success, is living her dream. It makes my heart feel good to see and watch this success story. And if you haven't stopped by White's Fine Jewelers in Middletown Commons, you're in for a real treat. Tonight's Women's Achievement Award goes to Jann Stewart, owner of White's Fine Jewelry. And our next presenter is Nick Fantasia.
Good evening. Not many large companies have chosen to have a branch located in small West Virginia towns. They can be anywhere in the world. This company chose Marion County because of its employees and the central location to many larger cities and their larger clients. Employing a local workforce is a key to success for any community that prides itself on that community premise. This company serves not only Marion County, but Braxton, Preston, Nicholas County school systems. You see their trucks and their employees on this campus at Fairmont, as well as Pierpont, WVU, Wesleyan, and AB. They service our banks, our clinics, our office buildings, our manufacturing plants, and our churches. And for those facilities, it's an opportunity to get a national company quality serving local businesses. In addition, their employees volunteer community service regularly. They recently provided new HVAC to 612 Mac and installed it as that facility works toward becoming a better youth center for our community. They pride themselves on not only supporting the needs of our youth, but also the needs of our veterans. Celebrating 70 years in business, and if any Marion County business or organization isn't using them, it's time you take a look at this out-of-state firm that calls Fairmont home. Join me in welcoming Mike Talkington and Brandy Hines from EMCOR Scalise Company as they receive our Corporate Citizen of the Year. Now, if you've recognized in this room of 400 people, you're not sweating, these people. Good job. It is now my honor to introduce to you one of the hardest working young women I've ever met, Julie Souls.
As you've seen tonight with our scholarship recipient, education plays a very big role in our chamber each year, and we thank our partners such as Phil and Rebecca Burton for their continued commitment to the students of Marion County. But I'm sure you also know that behind every successful student are dozens of educators and volunteers that have dedicated their lives to molding them for success. And sometimes it's not what is done in the classroom, but rather outside the classroom. And sometimes it takes an unbelievably dedicated person to help our students not only succeed in school, but in life. Tonight, we honor a gentleman who has literally touched the lives of over 3,000 students in North Central West Virginia. He's a very successful business owner, but in his spare time, he tutors at his home or even his place of business. He assists with the SAT and ACT math prep classes, works with local schools through his business to offer reading programs, marketing advice, Teacher Tuesdays, offers fundraising opportunities for schools through business, and supports with school trips, holds baseball clinics, and works with all of the sports teams in the area. In his spare time, he serves on the boards of Fairmont State and Alderson Broaddus and is an avid marathon runner. After all this, he owns and manages over 40 McDonald's franchises and employs over 1,000 people. So please join me in congratulating Mr. John Ebert as our winner of the 2021 Education Award. Congratulations, John. Thank you, John. We're back to our president, Tina Shaw.
Too often, we as residents and businesses take the work of our elected officials for granted. We expect much of them without fully understanding all the challenges they face to keep us safe, maintain our infrastructure, and foster economic development. As we've mentioned, this has been a difficult year, and not that long ago, we were losing a hospital with no hope in sight. Our team of delegates at the time, Mike Caputo, Michael Angelusi, and Linda Longstreth, were in Charleston fighting our fight. However, there was one other person in Charleston that didn't have a dog in our fight, but stood beside us, came to Fairmont to tell her story, and joined us for our meetings with the governor. You see, she had just gone through the exact same situation in her hometown of Wheeling. Today, we have not one hospital, but two. And in addition to our delegation of Caputo, Angelusi, and Longstreth, this woman deserves our thanks and appreciation for getting involved in Marion County and saved our health care. She didn't have to do it, but she did. And her ties to Marion County and Fairmont State go way back, because some of you might remember a former football coach by the name of Bill Kerr, right here on this campus. Well, that's her grandfather. And she spent many summers in our county and running around this campus. Join me, please, in congratulating Mrs. Erikka Storch, West Virginia delegate from Ohio County, but more important, my counterpart at the Wheeling Area Chamber of Commerce, as a recipient of the 2021 Public Servant of the Year. So at this time, I would also like to ask former delegate Michael Angelusi to join Erikka in front of the stage. As you know, due to COVID, we were unable to have this dinner last year, but we felt it was important to recognize a couple of people for their outstanding service. One of them was Mike Angelusi, who was given the Public Servant of the Year for 2020. And it's these two people. These two people, along with Senator Caputo and former delegate Linda Longstreth, who moved mountains to make sure that we had quality health care and many options in Marion County. Congratulations. And I think Jonathan's going to run up here to introduce his award. Wait a minute, he can't run, he's having a knee problem.
Yeah, come on now. All right, well, the Chairman's Award, like the President's Award, is chosen by the Chair of the Marion County Chamber of Commerce, and tonight's recipient is doing something incredibly special and focusing on children with disabilities. It started in a backyard and is now located in their Marion County facility, where clients can spend a day in the sunshine laughing with friends and doing something truly meaningful. Their motto is changing lives one hoofbeat at a time. This facility is using horses to enrich the lives of their clients. Children of all ages and all disabilities can experience unique stimulation from a horse that mimics the human walk. Exercising with this type of movement affects the physical, cognitive, and sensory systems, which allow a person with disabilities to accomplish things previously not thought possible. And that's the key word, possibilities. For these children, life is full of the impossible, but participating in these programs at this facility, impossible becomes possible. I encourage everyone to visit and volunteer at this facility where your life will be forever changed. Join me in congratulating On Eagle's Wings Therapeutic Horsemanship and welcoming their owner, Carol Petito, and Director Casey Conway. Would you mind doing the introduction for Mary Jo?
Our next award presentation will be made by Mary Jo Thomas.
We'll have a microphone adjustment for those of us of average height. It's so exciting because this year we unveil a new award that we hope to distribute every year moving forward. The Francis H. Pierpont Visionary Award is very special because of the history of the man himself, Francis Pierpont. We could spend all night here talking about the accomplishments of Pierpont and how he shaped the future of Marion County. But to say he was a mover and a shaker in his time is certainly an understatement. A hardworking young man grew into a hardworking governor and never forgot from whence he came, never forgot his roots. Shaping the future, working hard, never forgetting your roots are all part of the needed qualities and the many qualities for tonight's award recipient. The recipient of this first ever award is a West Virginian by choice. Truly a visionary, and sees way beyond what most of us see. He is committed and dedicated to his employer, and that commitment and dedication matches his commitment to the community. This person never knows a stranger. In addition to amazing corporate contributions which he seems to engineer, he gives of his own time, talent, and treasure. A CEO, a president of the Board of Governors, a member of numerous boards and committees, a WVU grad, a husband and father, and putting himself out there, and I understand outside his comfort zone, is one of our 2021 Dancing with the Stars. He's a contestant to help the United Way and the Chamber. Please join me in congratulating Mr. David Goldsberg as the first recipient of the Francis H. Pierpont Visionary Award. David, congratulations. Come on down. It is my pleasure now, on a fast trot, to ask Jonathan Board to step back up for the next presentation.
You're laughing with me, I got it. All right, well, thank you everyone. We are excited. We come to our last award of the evening. And before I announce that, I missed, and I will own that I missed Mr. David Hinkle, who is here with us tonight from Harrison County Commission. David, thank you for joining us. And now we're to the Reverend Donald M. Jack Squires Lifetime Achievement Award. Like many neighborhoods in the 80s, my little neighborhood practiced something called newspaper sharing. It's where we would all subscribe to different newspapers, and then when we were done, we would share it with each other. For those of you born post-2000, it was very common before the internet. Well, my little neighborhood was no different. But what was different was my neighbor, my next door neighbor, was Reverend Squires. Now, my parents felt that as rambunctious as I was, full of energy and zeal, and being the best kid on the planet, that I take the responsibility of delivering our newspaper out the back door, through the yard, and over to Reverend Squires' home every day. Importantly, they did not define proper etiquette for this delivery. So without direction, I had to lean on my own understanding. And at the age of 2 or 3, I had to develop the techniques that I saw through my favorite cartoons, which were at the time Flintstones and He-Man. Of course, good stuff there. So naturally, upon arrival, I would kick Reverend Squires' door with all my might, and I would scream at the top of my lung, "Squires, paper!" And he would always come down, and he would ruffle my hair and say thanks, and he would call me by his favorite nickname for me, which was, of course, Bam Bam. Some years later, my sense of decorum developed, and I told my mom, I said, why don't we give him a piece of candy every day in way of thanks? And so I got there, and we did this for several weeks, but after that, I hatched a plan. And so that day when I handed him that piece of candy, I told him in great detail that this was truly the greatest candy known to man. It was delicious, and he would definitely enjoy it. And he kind of winked at me and said, you know what, I've got a toothache. Maybe you need to eat this for me today. And week after week, the excuses kept coming until there was sort of an unspoken rule that was actually my candy. And usually, I would eat it before I had even delivered it. We lived in a rough and tumble neighborhood, like a lot of neighborhoods were in the 80s. And we had a lot of kids over there all the time, friends mostly. But as the youngest of all of them, I'd often be the recipient of the Charlie horses and the ear flicks and the occasional throwdown. And I always found it curious, after delivering the paper and eating my candy, I would look over my shoulder and I would see that Reverend Squires was watching me through a side window as I walked back. And it wasn't until after his death that another neighbor informed me that he was always worried about me, being the little guy, and he wanted to make sure that I made it back to my yard safely. You see, others knew him as this incredible man who was philanthropic. He always gave of his time and his money. He was a defender of those in need, and rightfully so, because he was all these things and more. But I simply knew him as my neighbor, a man who looked out for the little guy, who was wise to my candy scheme, but always played along, and who always made sure I got home safely. So every year as I hear this name called out, and this award given to a worthy individual, I think back about this man who was so many things, but to me, he was my friend. It's absolutely wonderful to be given the opportunity to finally be a part of this award, as I knew its namesake personally. Tonight, I am honored to present this award to another deserving individual, a man who embodies all of these characteristics and so much more. A man who made his mark on Marion County, from driving school buses as a young man to quietly building a business park and property empire in the southern part of our county. The man likes to keep his accomplishments quiet, but his success and above all, kindness and faith are truly legendary. My friends, please welcome our 2021 Reverend Donald M. Jack Squires Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Mr. Benjamin Ed Bunner.
So Jonathan's going to wobble back up on this stage and make another introduction.
Thank you, everyone. Well, we're doubly blessed tonight. We weren't sure who we would have with us, but we were excited. We knew that we would have honorable guests and good folks here, and it worked out. Now we have two. Gail Conley-Manchin was sworn in as the Appalachian Regional Commission's 13th co-chair on May 6th, 2021, becoming the first ARC federal co-chair from West Virginia. Nominated by President Biden, Manchin works directly with ARC's 13-member governors and their state alternates and program managers, and a network of local development districts to continue to build community capacity and strengthen economic growth throughout Appalachia. Married to U.S. Senator Joe Manchin, she is a graduate of West Virginia University and worked as an educator in Marion County Schools, served on the faculty of Fairmont State University, and was the director of the university's first community service learning program. You can read her bio in the program. However, it's important to note that her top priorities at ARC are to support the creation of economic opportunities in the Appalachian region, improve broadband access and critical infrastructure in the Appalachian communities, and address the region's opioid crisis. Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Gail Conley-Manchin back to Marion County.
Another short one here. Okay. Good evening. That's right up here. All right. It is truly an honor and a pleasure to be back in Fairmont tonight. I have enjoyed, as we came in this evening, I kept saying I am seeing friends and cohorts and colleagues that I have not seen in years. And so, like everyone else, I think we're so happy to be able to be out and about a little bit. It feels good. It feels good to look people in the face and not just on a Zoom screen for everything that we're doing. So thank you so much, Jonathan, for the kind introduction. And thank you, Tina, and to the Chamber for inviting me to be here tonight. Thank you, Dr. Martin, for hosting this beautiful event in this beautiful building. It is interesting, I was noticing as Jonathan was introducing me that I am the 13th co-chair. We have 13 states and governors so I'm thinking this may be a number that I should stick with when I'm playing the lottery or something. I am not the first woman co-chair, but I am the first West Virginian. Which I find really interesting. I wasn't aware of that. And West Virginia is the only state that is totally within the ARC region. The other 12 states are just a portion of their state that follows that swath of the Appalachian Mountains and trail from southern New York down to Mississippi. So there are 420 counties that we serve in the ARC region. And since becoming the co-chair in May, I have spent a great deal of time learning, getting to know more about this Appalachian Regional Commission. It is a program that is very unique. There is not another ARC in this country. There is not another group of states that are linked together that are federally funded like the Appalachian Regional Commission. And I think that says several things about who we are, and what we are. Who we are a group of people that are resilient, committed. You meet challenges head on. You're loyal. You take care of one another. And that's what I have found. I have found it all my life in West Virginia. And I am finding it as I visit our other states that are part of the ARC, as I meet people from those counties, I find these same characteristics. Our land is very similar. We have the beauty of our mountains, greenery, waters. We have a place that's a sanctuary, and we found that during COVID. As people came to West Virginia, came to the ARC region to escape the cities, to escape the fear of COVID, to a land where there was space and air to breathe. And so I am indeed in this learning experience, but I have to tell you that being here tonight is extremely special because I believe, and Joe and I have talked about this many times since I accepted this position, you sometimes go through your life and you are doing things and you're participating and you're in your career and you're not sure where you're going or maybe why you're doing things. And I have to tell you that I truly believe that my life and the bulk of my adult life spent right here in Marion County was training me for this job. As I look around this room and I see the leaders, the people that are committed to your jobs, to your families, to your community, many of you were my peers. And Fairmont State played a very important part in my life, working in the developmental education department, being able to help develop and work with the very first community service learning program. And my cohort in crime, Donna Newsom, is back there at the table. Thank you, Donna. But wonderful things with wonderful people. And so I have to say to many of you here tonight, some of you are too young, but those of you that are not too young, thank you for making me the person that I am. And for allowing me to have this wonderful opportunity to serve West Virginia and the entire ARC region. And I will tell you that we have some wonderful opportunities in front of us, and that's what I want to share with you tonight. The President has great faith in the Appalachian Regional Commission and the work that it's done, and I commend him for understanding and realizing, because I have met now and am working with a phenomenal staff at the Appalachian Regional Commission. They're brilliant, young, middle-aged, and old, like me, but they bring a wealth of knowledge, their research, their analysis, their data. It is truly rewarding to see what they are doing and the work that they are providing as a resource and a support to the 13 states. So as I'm learning more about the program and working with these individuals, I feel that every day I'm learning something new. But as I said, the President has great faith in the Appalachian Regional Commission and has really increased our budget, and we're hoping that Congress will go along with that increase. But also, the federal government has been sending and will continue to send money to our local communities to help combat this great inequity and pandemic that we have had with COVID. And so we have some opportunities in this coming year that we have never had before and may never have again. And so as I look out to each of you, I say to you, we have work to do. We have great opportunities. We have great challenges. But working together, working outside of our lines, extending ourselves to bigger ideas, making ourselves available not only to our neighbors in the next community, but our neighbor in the next county and our neighbor in the next state. What I have found as I have been co-chair is that West Virginia, being the only state, is the good news and the bad news. The good news is West Virginia is the only state totally within the region. The bad news is that West Virginia has continued to stay just inside West Virginia. We need to not think of ourselves as southern West Virginia or north central West Virginia or the northern panhandle or the Ohio Valley or the eastern panhandle. We are a unit, and we need to grow together as a unit. And we need to look at our neighbors in Kentucky and Ohio and Pennsylvania and Virginia, because we have much in common. We have much in common. And COVID showed us how much we have in common. When the Appalachian Region Commission was created in 1965, its core mission was to build a highway system, because President Kennedy said a state cannot grow that doesn't have a highway system. And so through the years, since 1965, we have built highways, and we are continuing to build highways. We're hoping to finish Corridor H, which is part of the Appalachian Development Highway System. But now, what we found with COVID is that we have a new highway problem, and that's broadband. A state cannot grow without a highway system. We cannot grow without the highway broadband system that we need in this state and all across the Appalachian region. And so we need to work together. I have reached out to the 13 governors to say we need to work together. We need to work with our internet communication people and say we have a problem. We know that you've covered the cities. You've even sort of covered the middle mile. But we've not covered the last mile. We are the last mile. Every child, every family deserves the same opportunity and resources that every child and family deserves. We should never be defined by our zip code. It should not define our destiny. And so, yes, one of my goals is hopefully that as the co-chair of the ARC, working with 13 other states of beautiful people in a beautiful land, we're going to meet our challenges, and we're going to take ARC to the next level, and it will be because of people just like you, each and every one of you, that every day make a difference. And in making a difference, we become a partner with you to make these good things happen. Thank you so much for allowing me to be back here tonight and to share with you, and more importantly, to be able to say thank you.
Thank you so much. My introduction has left the podium, but I think that's okay. Our next speaker is someone that I think everyone knows, and I think the quality of character, which is sort of the theme of this evening, was demonstrated. You were voting this morning when? 4 a.m. this morning. Senator Manchin was working for all of us. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, our senator. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you so much. To all of you, let me say thank you. I can't tell you, same as Gail just did, how good it is to be home. We don't get a chance that much anymore. And to be here with so many people. Tina, thank you again for always doing what you do. I appreciate it very much, and you know the family. Your family's part of my family. It's been that way our lives. So all of you, all of the board members of the Chamber, to Fairmont University President Martin, thank you so much for this beautiful event. I keep thinking of Frank Police every time I come. Every time I come. And you know what, I do an awful lot of dinners, but there's never a dinner this good anywhere else in the state or the country I've been to. I want to thank our new superintendent, Donna Haig. Donna, you don't know that, but she has Marion County roots. I know Donna, and I know that the job she's going to do is going to be fantastic. To Gail, I'm so proud of Gail. Everybody thinks because I'm the senator, the president appointed her because of me. I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. I didn't even know she was nominated for the job, but she worked with Randy Weingarten, president of AFT, and they worked down in McDowell County. Randy calls me and says, I nominated Gail for this job. And I said, my goodness, there's not a better qualified candidate than Gail. And so she was nominated, and the president put her up. And someone says, you think she's going to have a hard time getting confirmed? Well, there's another thing. You know, confirmations of the United States Senate, everything's contentious anymore. So you always run in that risk. But I figured she had an inside track on this because she fed most of the senators, and they all knew her, and she'd cut off the food if not. And then lo and behold, can you imagine this last infrastructure bill we just passed had $1.25 billion for the Appalachian Highway System? How did that happen? I'm not sure, but I think we're going to get some roads built. Anyway, to all the chamber members and all of you who have been coming. I look around, so many of our friends and so many of you all, and public servants, all of you that we've served together, known each other most of our lives. And it's just special. It's really special. It's a special place, and you all know that. To Randy Farley, the job he's done has been unbelievable. We appreciate Randy so much and thank him for what he's done. To all of our state and local officials, it's not easy being a local official or public official anymore. You put a target on your back and go out and let them start shooting. That's about what it is. It's you become a spear catcher, or you're going to be able to dodge pretty good. Either way. Randy also, I wanted to mention Randy. Randy is happens to be the uncle of Kim Berry in my office. Randy, you all have done a good job with Kim because she's the best of the best. Thank you, buddy. To all the award winners, I want to thank you all for a job well done. I mean, it's something when all of your colleagues choose you as the best of the best. That's pretty special. And that means that you've mixed well and you've basically integrated well with all of the people. Competition basically makes all of us better, but competition is really who we are. Without competition, there's no business. And when you can be really recognized by your peers, it's pretty special. I want to say something to Phil Burton. Where's Phil sitting? Phil? I don't think you, stand up, Phil. We graduated together at Farmington High School. Little tidbit, little trivia there. Phil and I have been friends forever, and I just don't get to see him that often. Rebecca, you've done a good job raising him, honey, because he needed a lot of help after he left Farmington. And then my family, to be here with my family, it's always special. I don't get to see Rock and Cindy that much, and Timmy, I see Angie back there, everybody, my brother-in-law, Manuel, and brother Rock, well, Georgie, my cousin Georgie's here. Everybody knows Georgie. If you need a ride, Georgie will come get you. If you need a lift, he'll lift you up in the lift truck too. Georgie does it all. Let me tell you the thing, the bipartisan, there's a lot going on. I can speak, I can give speeches and all this and that, but I'm going to tell you, things are tough. It's a tough time we're in. The country's we're in a bubble. And it depends on if this bubble is going to burst the right way or the wrong way. And I've never been more concerned about my country than I am right now. I see the world a little differently. I've been in Washington for 10 years. I've been on Intelligence Committee. Intel Committee is a very interesting committee because I can't even talk. There's 15 of us that were on Intel, and I couldn't talk to the other 85 senators. That I could not tell them what I would hear. They keep asking. I says, well, go down into the SCIF. We have a SCIF. So to give you an idea of the Capitol, the Capitol is a unique place. And we have, in that Capitol, we have down in the Visitor Center. When they built the Visitor Center, they kind of built it the same as when the Greenbrier, when the medical center was built. That medical center, Greenbrier, was built basically as a facade for the security that we have for our country. The visitor center was built, it was needed, the visitor center, but everything's underneath of there where we go. And a lot of things we do are way down deep. And then we have our own medical center too, so they can take care of everything right there for us. But it's been a wonderful opportunity. But to learn what we learned, it makes me really wonder, you know, and think about our founding fathers, how we became the country that we are. And there's a lot of criticism right now. People are criticizing this and that and our origins, how we got to who we are. Let me tell you one thing. It's still the greatest country on earth. It really is. I've seen the good and the bad across. I've seen Afghanistan many times. We should have got out of Afghanistan 10, 15 years ago. There was no win situation. I talked to all the special ops people that come back. It get worse, it never got better. It's not a good time to leave. It's not the right time to leave, but it was time to leave. It really was. Now, no matter what happens, we're not going to change that part of the world. We're just not. We can maintain it. We can't change it. That's all we can do. There's so much that's happening right now. I want to go through a few things because there's things bothering me that I have seen and I've never seen in my life. I went to give a speech the other day, first time I've given a speech when a gathering. This is only about the second or third gathering we've had with people that we could be all together and without masks, and hopefully everyone's vaccinated. If not, I hope you do get vaccinated. But let me just say this, COVID's real. COVID killed 600,000 Americans. That's real. The numbers are accurate. 3,000 West Virginians have died. That's accurate. Climate change is real. Now you can blame anybody you want on climate change, but I think as humans we got a chance to do something. Let's take advantage of it. Let's make it better. And we can do it basically not by eliminating anything that we have and all the resources. We can innovate our way to a better climate. I give this talk all the time. I have all my climate friends come in, and I'm now chairman of Energy and Natural Resources, which basically we have the energy policy, we have all the nuclear policies in my portfolio, and then we have all of the public lands, millions and millions of acres, all the drilling done on Bureau of Land Management and everything. I'm learning this and learning that and trying to understand all the things that we as Americans have privilege to and how we can keep those privileges. So we talk about climate change, and they said, well, if we don't do something, the world is going to basically disintegrate, or it's basically going to burn itself up, or it's going to basically evaporate. I mean, all these things, and they're right. We have to do something. But if you think you're going to eliminate fossil fuels, coal, natural gas, oil, and not basically embrace all the new technologies with renewables, which we should, but if you don't innovate your way, and I'll give you a perfect example. We have 504 coal plants in the United States of America, 504. There are 6,600 coal-fired plants in the world, in the globe, 6,600 coal-fired plants. There's 1,063 being built or under contract and design right now as we speak. That's another 1,063 on top of 6,600. But a lot of my hardcore environmental friends will tell you that 504 is going to run the world, the globe. We've cleaned up the environment more than 20 years, last 2 decades, than any place in the world. We really have. There's an awful lot more we can do. And I've said this, you take the United States of America out of fossil fuel, there won't be another country step to the plate to make investments. We, in my committee, we put $12 billion for research and development. $12 billion for carbon capture utilization. If you want to save the world, you want to save the climate, you better be able to save and basically capture CO2. You better be able to capture methane coming from drilling. Those are the things that we can do because it's not going to stop. In the next 10 years, 90% of all pollution will come from one continent, Asia. China will have 3,500 active coal-fired plants. 3,500, they got 2,900 now. They're not backing off. They are not backing off. And then on top of that, they want to go to electric vehicles. I've driven, they're something, they're unbelievable. But the bottom line is this. We're going to put they want to be mostly electric vehicles by 2035. We're going to put our whole transportation fleet, they want, by 2035 in the hands of foreign supply chain. You know where all the minerals come from? You know where they're refined? In China, 80%. I said, are you crazy? So I've been trying to push it towards hydrogen because I think hydrogen is the way to go. So we're trying to find that balance. January 6th is real. Trust me, they did not come there to take our pictures and sightsee. I was there. I was in that Capitol on January 6th. I could not believe. Now me, when I hear a good protest or a riot, I think they just want to talk. Let's go talk to them. So I'm inside in the chamber. We were in the Senate chamber, and all of a sudden they came and they closed the big doors, and we heard a lot of chattering. We kept hearing all this chattering in the hallways. A little bit loud, but I've been in the state, all of our state legislatures, when we've had to close the big doors, and you hear protesters and this and that, and that's who we are as Americans, so we accept that. Well, they closed the doors. Our Sergeant Arms closed all the doors. And do you remember the movie Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase? When the SWAT teams comes through the windows at the end? About 15 minutes after they closed our doors, they came in. And I want to tell you, this SWAT team came in on us, on the Senate. There was 100 senators. We were all there. And I mean, they had more ammunition and more arms on them than Carter had liver pills. They said, you guys are out of here. And we didn't get a chance to take anything off our desk. They took us down through the hallways and took us down into the deep caverns and everything. And we're down in a safe room. And we did not realize, I did not realize what was going on until we turned the monitors on. And I says, oh my God, the first time in the history of the United States of America that we have ever been attacked. And our form of government has ever tried to be overrun by our own people. Now, if that doesn't shock you back into reality, nothing will. Something's wrong. How did we get so divided? How did basically politics become a blood sport? Why am I supposed to be your mortal enemy because I'm on one party and you're on another party and this and that? We're all Americans. We're all in this together. We're all trying to solve the same problems. Why can't we sit down and work this out? So in my mind, none of this makes sense. But I know one thing. I've never seen hatred like I've seen. I've never seen division. And I'll tell you something else. Joe Biden is a duly elected president. I've seen the recounts. I've seen the canvasses. I've seen everything come through from every part of the country. But we have 41 million people that do not believe that he's a duly elected president. Now, let me tell you why, what we're dealing with. So when I got to this group, I'm speaking to Bethany College, and I told Gail, we were sitting there, I said, honey, I don't know what I'm going to say. I cannot think of a speech that would make any sense. We just come off of COVID. You've been sequestered. You've basically been cloistered up in your homes or wherever for a year. And just not who we are as Americans. The freedom that we have and the liberties that we have were taken away. Businesses had to shut down. They didn't make a choice there. They had to shut down. So we had an awful lot of problems going on. So I'm telling her, I said, I don't know what to say. And I swear to God, I didn't have a note in front of me. I got up and I'm thinking, oh, something will come. I'm walking from here to there and I'm thinking, something better happen quick. So I got there, and you know what I said? I said, I came here to apologize. And I'm going to say it to you. I came to apologize. I'm apologizing because I've been radicalized. You've been radicalized. Look around at our age. Your grandparents and your parents have been radicalized. And these kids start looking at me, what in the heck is he talking about? I says, let me tell you why. When we grew up, it's how we got our news. ABC, NBC, CBS, public news, public broadcasting. It came right down the middle. You might have been leaning left. You might have been leaning right. But this is where you got it. It kind of brought you back. Now, you know how we always say, you're entitled to your own opinion. You're just not entitled to create your own facts to support your crazy opinion. Let me tell you, you can find someone that'll support your crazy facts anymore. Your crazy opinion, I mean, with their crazy facts, because you can turn on cable news. You got 5 social platforms. You'll find somebody that'll support, as wild as your thoughts may be, my God, that might be true. We're all messed up. And I told these young people, and I tell young people here today, you're the only ones that can set this thing up. You're the only ones that can correct it. Because we're not programmed that way. Our age, our generation's not programmed, Dee, to do that. We keep thinking, well, you told me something, that's the gospel truth, because that's what I used to hear. Not anymore. Not anymore. So we've got a lot of work to do. And let me tell you, we are not looked upon around the world as we were. As I travel, we're not looked upon. It used to be that the Americans are coming. They still want senators to come. They still want us to come to the Baltics. They want us to come everywhere. They want to show that they have America's support. But they're not looking for the guidance they used to look for. They want the support, but they're not looking for the guidance. You know, Winston Churchill said it best in World War II. He says, don't worry. He wanted to get the Americans into the war so bad. He did everything he could to get us in that war, World War II. He says, don't worry, don't worry. The Americans will always do what's right after they've tried everything else. It's so true. We will try everything. So the bottom line is where we are today. How do we get out of this? Well, I can tell you. You look around what you all have done. Look around what Marion County has done. Look at the opportunities you have. Unbelievable. I really look. I see the hospitals, the medical care, Fairmont Medical Center. Larry back there, I know all the meetings that we were in, and I come to meetings, and Larry Puccio and all this, everybody was fighting, all the legislators, everybody did an unbelievable job. And all we wanted, look and see what we have to offer here. And it was leadership, it was investments, David, it was everything that you all were doing, everybody working together to give us options and opportunities. Because you cannot leave a community the size of Marion County without healthcare services and depend on how other counties provide. You can't grow that way. So you've done that. Look what just happened today. You all saw the announcement that Beatrice, former Meighen, Beatrice basically is now going to be part, WVU is considering bringing all that together. Can you imagine the opportunities, that 1 million square foot facility and all the opportunities, part of the WVU campus? Now, you know, it's been kind of hard for everyone who's worked there and their jobs came to a close. That was the last plant we had in America, a batch plant that did the kind of work they've done. So all the things and all the opportunities, but you have now WVU in a very unusual position, but a very opportune position. It's how they put this together and make it work now. It's going to be unbelievable, I think, and I just hope that all of this comes to fruition. But there's so many things that are happening. When you look around at what we did, we voted for a bipartisan infrastructure bill. No one said you can do anything bipartisan. And I get caught in the middle, and I'm in the middle, but you know what? I didn't choose this position. I didn't lobby for this position. I sure as heck didn't run for this position. It just so happened. Doesn't happen that often. This too shall pass. People say, oh, powerful this and powerful that. This. Let me tell you, I've been around long enough, and I think I'm old enough to understand. I've seen people that had power and abuse it. I've seen people that sought power and destroyed themselves, and I've seen people that had a moment of time and took advantage of it. If we can bring this country back together, if I can basically say, I'm not getting rid of the filibuster because that's not who we are. The Senate is the most deliberate body in the world. You want to know why? They keep saying, oh, it's not in the Constitution, Joe. Why are you taking that position? I'll tell you why I take that position. The Founding Fathers, can you imagine being the leader in Virginia in 1789 or New York or Pennsylvania? And here you are in your big states, and basically we only have 13 colonies. And George Washington tells you, guess what? We're going to have two bodies, a bicameral. Now we have one for the people, which is going to be the House, and that's going to be simple majority. So we don't expect to get anything in a bipartisan way. We don't expect to get one thing from the House of Representatives that's going to be bipartisan. It wasn't set up to be bipartisan. So if the Republicans are in charge, it's going to come one way at us. If the Democrats are in charge, it's going to come another way at us. But the brilliance of Washington, of Madison, of Hamilton, of Jefferson, can you imagine? They scoured the world and looked at all of history to find the right form of government. And then they came upon something no one's ever tried before. It's an experiment. We're going to have a body that's going to have exactly the same representation. Can you imagine when they said Delaware and Rhode Island will have two people? They're going to have two senators. Wait a minute, what about Virginia? I'm big Virginia. Okay, I'm a Commonwealth. And and Rhode Island and Delaware is going to have the same representation, the same voice I have. So when you think about it, the thought process and all of our rules have come off of that is basically the minority would have input. You can't rule the minority's voice out, because you will be the majority sometime, and if you've done that, then you're going to eliminate the other. You have to hear. So we developed our rules, the filibusters, the 67 vote rule, the clochures, and all these crazy things that people don't understand. But the bottom line was, I got to hear that minority. I want that minority to speak. So the deliberation, why we're the most deliberate body? Because we had to have input from both sides. If there's 55 Republicans who are controlling the Senate, they can't do a thing unless they get 5 more Democrats, and vice versa. That takes deliberation. It takes compromise. So in today's chaotic situation that we're in politically, we were able to do something that hasn't been done in 30 years. We've got an infrastructure bill that every part of this great country is going to be touched by. the roads, everything that you name. Marion County, basically from the American Rescue Plan, $20 million came to this community, to this county. For the first time in the history of the United States of America, they get to decide how they're going to use it. It's never been done before. Money was sent directly. $8 million, I think, for the county, or $8 million for the city. $8 million for the city, and then the county got $12 million all. They're able to decide. So I put an amendment in. I put an amendment that I wanted to go directly, did not have to go through the governor's office to where the governor could make decisions, not because of our, but any governor. I wanted to basically go right to the communities for them to make the decisions, and they basically took care of their COVID expenses and water, sewage, and internet. Someone says, why'd you pick water and sewage, Joe? And I said, how many times have you seen a politician go out and cut a ribbon for a sewer plant? Not many. Or a water line. Now, we'll cut all the damn ribbons we can for bridges and roads, because that's sexy. But sir, maybe I might make it, might not. Anyway, we did something that needed to be done. And then we come along with this bill here, the bill we just put in front of you right now. Let me just tell you, you're talking about stuff that's going to happen. Transportation system, Georgie, $312 million into the public transportation system. You think about that. $3.2 billion federal highway programs for West Virginia. $506 million for bridges in West Virginia. $12 billion for bridge investment program. You got that. $289 million to upgrade clean drinking water and wastewater in West Virginia. It goes on and on and on. But we've got a plan. And you can't do it by yourself. You got to work with the state. They need to put a program together and put a task force together. Every community has to put a task force together, because what you can do is you can pull down money from the federal. The feds basically are matching. You have the state has money now. You have a county has money, and you have a municipality has money. If you can't fix your problems now, you'll never fix them. And if you're depending on more money to come, it won't. They've asked me what's going on about all the unemployment benefits and this, and I was walking out of the Capitol and the person said, what about extending the unemployment benefits? I said, we've got 9 million jobs we can't fill. 9 million jobs that we cannot fill. Find Americans to work. Come on, American, get up and let's go back to work. It's time to go back to work. I could talk forever on some of this stuff, but I can tell you, you don't want to hear that. What you want to hear is this. If you have children and grandchildren, sit down and talk to them. And tell them this, honey, you hit the jackpot. You hit the jackpot. You were born in America. You're an American. Nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you. Only you can stop yourself. You have an opportunity to get any education you want. And education is a great equalizer. Equalizes everything. Education is the way to do it. So I tell people, I said the thing about, I went to China one time, Gail and I was there, and we just were marveling. That's when China was doing the Olympics. And I couldn't believe that China was building all these unbelievable buildings. And where did they get all these workers? I couldn't believe it. I'm thinking, how did they have this technology? Well, basically all the architect was done in the Western countries. But how did they get people that could provide that type of workmanship? So I finally got a communist leader to talk to me. And I asked him, I says, how do you all do it? And he says, well, I'll tell you how we do it. He says, we have, every child goes to school for 9 years. 9 years, okay? The 9th grade, equivalent to our 9th grade. But in the 9th grade, the communist country, they make a decision on, do you go on, they invest in you in academia, or are you going to be a bricklayer, you're going to be an electrician, you're going to be a plumber, you're going to be a garbage collector, you're going to be something. Depend on how well you perform the first 9 years. They choose. They got to have so many people, because it's a billion plus people. They have so many of this, so many of this, so many of this. So it was amazing to me. But it really came back to fruition when we asked this question. Gail and I were at this one of the exemplary schools for the little Chinese. And they all speak English. That's their second language, English. A little girl, maybe 12 years old. So I thought I'd ask the question, what do you like about America? What do you like about America? She said, I wish I could think like Americans. Now what she's telling you is she didn't have the ability to think on her own. She had to perform, boom, boom, boom. Because if she didn't, she couldn't do this, this, or this. We don't think that way. You say, oh, they'll grow up. The kids will find their way later on. They'll find their way and everything will be fine, and we all have all the excuses. These kids knew they had to perform. They knew they couldn't have a single thought of their own, because it was going to be basically evaluated of what they were going to do. And that made me think. So when you go home, you tell your kids, they hit the jackpot. What are they going to do with it? I always ask them that. I go to schools, I said, you hit the jackpot, what are you going to do? They said, well, what do you mean I hit the jackpot? And I said, you can be anything you want to be. What do you want to be? What are you going to do for it? How hard do you want to study? How hard do you want to work? What are you going to do? So basically, when you hit the jackpot, and we think about money, you have some people that waste it, it's gone, they're bankrupt. You have some people that invest it, and some people basically live a life that they wanted to live and never could live before. Everybody does something different. But they've hit the jackpot, and America is a special place. I tell them this, I've been in so many meetings, so many high-level meetings, secret meetings, and everything else. I've never had one official come to me and says, we've got to do something about people coming, that basically want to leave America. I've never had one meeting where we had to worry about people leaving. All my meetings have been about how are they coming, how should they be able to come, and how do we fix the problems we have. That's what we have today. So each one of you are here because you're a product of your environment. You are who you are by where you were raised, how you were raised, and who you were raised by. It sticks with you the rest of your life. I look around at all the cousins. We know exactly what I'm talking about because we all go back to those who basically instilled in us right and wrong, had a moral compass. Had a moral compass. We're very privileged to have that. So I used to tell people, I said, I was born as a privileged child. What do you think a privileged child? What, big neighborhood, big fancy home? We were born between railroad tracks and Buffalo Creek. We had a 3-room garage apartment. Well, they said, why do you say you're a privileged child? And I said, well, I had unconditional love. There wasn't a day in my life that I didn't know that somebody in my family loved me no matter how bad I screwed up. They were there for me. You've got that, and tell me, how many kids you think have that today? How many kids are missing that person, that hug, and say, you're okay, honey, I'm with you. Papa, when we got in trouble, remember Tim? Papa would say, you'd say, hey, Pop, are you with me? Are you behind me, Papa? If you got in trouble, he said, honey, I'll be behind you until your chest hurts. Now, by God, you can't get closer than that. So that's the thing. So we are who we are. And I keep trying to tell people, I just use the common sense that I was raised with. And it was raised right here in Marion County, right 7 miles across the hill in Farmington. But a lot of my time was spent in Marion County, right here in Fairmont. Gail and I raised our family here, and we're proud of that. And we think they've been grounded. We've been very proud of what the success they've all had, but they've been grounded. I look around at all the families. I see my friends, the Floyds back there, and all of them, and everything that everybody that we've done together. Larry and I talk about it all the time. We talk about our families and what all the kids have done. Lance, and I see everybody's doing so good. I'm so proud of everybody. Johnny from back home. I see Johnny and the family and Carrie and all of you and what you have done. But we are special. And don't forget that. We get down on ourselves so bad. Don't get down. We're not. We've got so much to get. The whole world's counting on us right now. They're counting us to get it right. We can't burst this bubble. We can't have inflation take over. We can't basically take away the American dream. We're still the hope of the world. We really are. And when you hear that song, Proud to be an American, I told Lee Greenwood one time, Gail and I had the chance to spend some time with him, and you've heard about the boat, I'm sure, a little bit about the boat. Anyway, we just had a big gathering on the boat. We're trying to get, I can get them down to the boat, and I always if I bring 10, I bring 5 Democrats and 5 Republicans. And I always try to bring people that don't know each other that well, and people I don't think like each other that well. So one time I brought Tom Harkin down. Tom Harkin was a big Democrat senator from Iowa, great guy. And then I brought Ted Cruz down. I had Ted from Texas. I'll never forget this. I got the boat running, we're ready to take off. I'm taking for a cruise. Tom Harkin got there, and Tom says, Joe, I've never been on I've been here 30 years and never been on the river, Potomac River. I can't wait to go out. And I said, Tom, we're getting ready to go. Just hold on, we're going to go. About that time, he saw Ted Cruz walking down the ramp. He said, I'm getting off. I said, why are you getting off? He says, I don't like him. I can't. I said, when's the last time you talked to him? Well, I said, Tom, come on. Just have a glass of wine. Everything's going to be fine. Sit down. Before the night was over, those two become best of friends, and the next day they were doing a bill together. There's no camaraderie. There's no communications. It's hard to say no to your friends, right? You want to agree with your friends. You want to help your friends. You want to accommodate them any way you can. And Dad always said, if you have to say no with a tear in your eye, because it should hurt you as bad as it hurts them not hearing the good news. That's what we try to do. But Lindsey Graham came down, and you heard about Lindsey. Lindsey came down, we took a group out, and this was last week, and we're right in the middle of this negotiations, and we're trying to get kind of everybody to agree on this so we can go forward and get our bipartisan bill done. So Lindsey's the funniest guy in the world. One time we were in the old chambers. The old chamber, if you've ever been to the Senate, the old chambers in the Senate, you have the new and the old. The old chamber, we were locked in there one day because we were all in a mess and the government shut down. Again, Ted Cruz shut the government down. So we're in there and everybody's going back and forth to each other. About that time, Lindsey Graham stands up and he's sitting at the seat. He says, let me tell you, the last time someone from South Carolina sat in this seat, by God, we had the Civil War. And I don't think we're that bad yet. Just anything, just to break the monotony. He just, right now. But anyway, Lindsey came down. Then the next day we're back in session, so I get a phone call at 1 o'clock and the doctor calls and he says, Senator, you were exposed to somebody with COVID. And I says, really? And he said, yeah. He says, on your boat. And I'm thinking, oh boy, okay. And I said, can you tell me who it was? And it was a lady doctor, and she says, well, yes, he told me that I could give you his name. His name is Lindsey Graham. And anyway, I said, well, you know, I wasn't the only one on the boat with Lindsey. She says, oh, we know who all was on the boat. So they had us all go in and we've been tested the whole week long. So I saw Lindsey, he finally came back Monday, and I said, Lindsey, let me ask you something. You were planning, right? You knew you had COVID. You came down to try to infect us so we couldn't vote. But let me tell you, we're going to be fine. I really think so. But I have said this, I don't think we can fix it in Washington. We can't. I don't think we as senators or Congress people can fix it. Not unless there's pressure from you all. So you all who get involved in the political process, you all who give political contributions and help because you believe you want to invest into a candidate, and you should look at it as an investment. And I want to tell all of you, you have gotten a horrible return on investment if you've given politicians money, because we're not doing what we need to do. And you should demand better. You do it when you invest in something to get a return on for your family, or to put in your savings account, or for retirement. I'll tell you one thing, the best investment you can make is hope that we give you the retirement that your kids can enjoy, because right now, we're writing checks your kids can't cash. I can tell you that. And we've got to change it. Hearing from you all will make the changes, because we get in that little bubble in Washington, they don't hear anything except each other talking through each other. This is a time to step up to be an American. This is a time to be proud to be an American and demand more from what you're getting right now with the investments you've made. I'm telling all of you, it's time to speak up. It's time to get involved. And for all of you that are in public service now, God bless you. But step it up. Step it up. It's time to step up and speak up. And it's time to be a proud American and speak about this is American. I'm not red, I'm not blue, I'm not D, I'm not R. I'm an American, red, white, and blue. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Senator Manchin. Your quality of effort is not forgotten, and we recognize your sacrifices for all of America, but I think Marion Countyans, we recognize our own, and we thank you for it, and we won't forget your sacrifices. Thank you. We have a little gift for you tonight. And Tina, where is this from?
That's the name of my boat.
We're going to have Tina lift it up.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you everyone for being here. It's been a wonderful night. There are so many people that are important to us. Our team is so important at the Chamber. My team and all my reasons is sitting right over there. That beautiful woman, Ileana Martinez. Thank you for being my wife. I love you. I would ask that all award winners please join us over here. We're not asking, we're demanding. And to the rest of you, thank you so much for being here. You make us all better and stronger, and we're privileged to serve you. Please be safe and have a great night. Thank you. Could Norman Gunderson report? Norm Gunderson.
if we could have all our award winners come to the left of, my left of the stage. We're going to get some quick pictures. Erikka, you're first. Angelusi. Where'd Mike Angelusi go? I can't wait. I'm going to get out of here and go get my cheeseburgers. All right. Erikka, up here. Mike Angelusi, up here. He's doing it right here. Michael.
Guys, get some good pictures. Oh, all right.
Sorry.
I got some, yeah.
I'm just being.
I got it.
I'm getting everybody together.
Then I had a chance to sit down with Senator Manchin, and the first question I asked him is, what would he have us in Marion County know about his 10 years in office and the lessons that he has learned that we also could learn from him.
The American people truly should be demanding a lot more from us. They expect us to be civil with each other, respectful, and honor the Constitution, because we take an oath to defend the Constitution. And when the Constitution says we're trying every day to make a more perfect union, it's not perfect, and everyone wants to condemn it. We knew we weren't perfect. Our founding fathers knew it couldn't be perfect. That's why it says more perfect. And we have to continue to strive for that. But you can't strive from it if you look at the other side as enemy. There's no enemies in Washington. We're all on the same side. We saw what happens on January 6th when we think we're enemies. We got to heal that. That should wake everybody up. It should scare the bejesus out of them. And it does. I think now I'm more determined than ever to be more bipartisan.
Absolutely. You mentioned that we should stand up and speak out more than ever before and demand much more.
Because if not,
silence, how can we do that?
Silence is deafening.
Yeah.
I think basically having town halls, inviting people to town halls, have more of those, and see if they'll come and attend. Ask them just direct questions on what you're doing here. How come this is not moving? And you can tell real quick if someone's blaming someone else or someone says, I'm trying. You can tell basically how we voted. If a person votes in a bipartisan way, their vote tally will show that. If a person basically introduces bills with Republicans and Democrats alike, that means they're doing things bipartisan. They're reaching out. People that don't reach across and they don't think you're going to hold them accountable.
I have two final questions. One kind of humorous, but I think you can answer. We talked about it at the table here. West Virginia University may need to find a new conference. Everybody's concerned about that.
Well, they got 2 years. I would say this. First of all, we've got great people. You got Gordon Gee as president, and you got Shane Lyles. Well respected, they know their way around. So we don't have rookies there. So we'll have a chance to land very well. We'll land someone very well. Neil Brown's very much respected. Bob Huggins very much, our major. I think it's a chance that they know that we can play, we can compete, and our academics have done very well. So they can't use anything against us. So my preference is ACC for our fans. We travel up and down the East Coast pretty well, we'll drive. Give us that chance to come really show the collegiate spirit.
And we are the only state that has one major institution. I mean, we have Marshall. But
Marshall does a great job too.
Yes,
and like I say, they both. But W.Va carries, that's the flagship of our state. They carry our name, they carry our colors.
And the final question is, you mentioned about Meighen being absorbed maybe into WVU.
I'm thinking they're working on that.
How that's working.
Well, it's been those talks have been going on for quite some time.
I did not know that.
It's finally coming to fruition. I know people are very, very.
4,400, 4,600 jobs.
People were very, I can say, very upset.
Yeah.
They thought nobody was trying hard. But these talks, and I can tell you that Mike Pushkar would be tickled to death for it to be part of WVU's campus and have it as a quasi-experiment, basically with public and private. WVU students can learn real opportunities and jobs when jobs are coming in. Pharmaceutical, unbelievable. So many unbelievable opportunities. So I'm looking for the best, and I really think that'll happen.
thank you, Joe. I really
Okay.
appreciate that. You're
Good.
a fine gentleman.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. Well, we thank you very much for watching the 67th Annual Marion County Annual Dinner at Fairmont State University, presented by the Greater Fairmont Marion Chamber of Commerce. Today, we give you thanks for the leadership of Jonathan Board, the board president, along with the president, Tina Shaw. The awards today were very numerous, including Seth Burton Memorial Foundation Award, Sophia Tomana, Randy Farley for 46 years of public service, the Developer of the Year, Stella Construction, the Women's Achievement Award, the Jann Stewart of White's Fine Jewelry, the Corporate Citizen of the Year Award, EMCOR, the Educator of the Year, John Ebert, the Public Servant of the Year, Erikka of Storch, along with Michael Angelusi, the Chairman's Award on Eagle's Wings, the Francis Pierpont Visionary Award to David Goldsberg, the Reverend Squires Lifetime Achievement Award to Benjamin Bunner. Thank you all for watching. This is D.D. Meighen. So long, take care, and be a blessing.